Broadcasting across the country and around the world, from Sin City in Las Vegas, Nevada, join Moose and PowerSerg as we prove that age is truly just a number and the best life is yet to come. Grab a seat, pour yourself a drink, and dare to live on 50 Shades of Great. Welcome back to another episode, 50 Shades of Great. Your host, Moose, kicking it here with PowerSerg, executive producer and co-host. Going to talk about something that we've been alluding to for a while now. I think it's really important to understand that if you're going to feel good, you've got to look good. Or vice versa, maybe both ways.
And for this episode, we're back in the studio.
We're back in studio. We've got Chris, Vegas Content Studio. Feels good to be home. We've been remote a few times. Apologize for any lack of resolution.
Hey, look, this is a working show, right? You will see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the reality is we travel a lot, and it brings with it challenges.
But Serge, the whole purpose of starting the show was to talk to guys in reality, not guys on one extreme or the other, but people who really need that permission slip to live their best life. And we are a walking testament that we are learning. We're learning our fitness. We're on this journey with you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest today, James Kilgore. James, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for
James is quite the stud.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm an airline pilot. I try to keep it on the low.
And by the way, ladies, if there are any ladies listening, he's single.
You know what? In a second, remind me to bring up the epaulets when I worked on the cruise ship.
Right. I usually don't push the airline that I work for. I try to keep that on the private side because I don't represent them in any way while I'm here. But yeah, I've been an airline pilot. Been an airline pilot for 30 years.
Wow.
So I've been around.
And what did you do before you were an airline pilot?
I was in the Marines before.
Yes, you were.
Yes, I was. So I loved it. Marine Corps gave me the opportunity with the GI Bill to go ahead and become a pilot after I got out.
Nice.
An airline pilot.
Were you a pilot in the Corps?
I wasn't. I did get my private pilot's license, but I was enlisted while I was in the Marines. I was having a blast. It was a great time. So yeah,
good
really
times.
enjoyable. Yeah,
a lot of Marine friends of the show.
Oh yeah. We seem to stick out.
And he fellow divorce guy, right?
Yes.
You got me beat?
No. Oh yeah. I'm one and done. Right?
Okay.
One and done.
Okay.
Not this
Moose,
3 or 4.
How many is it?
You know what? I'm done with
you. Yeah, I heard that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. I need one of these courses.
One of the reasons, we've been talking about different ways to make yourself sort of better, right? Live your best life. Yeah. And obviously looking good feeling good starts with looking good, right? You look good, you act good, eventually you're going to feel good, right? So where the external meets the internal. And so James is literally the snazziest dresser that I know. And so instead of bringing and we're at some point going to bring some professional stylist who's going to fill our heads with all kinds of stuff. But before that, I wanted to bring James to talk about, because James is also in how old are you?
56.
He's 56.
He's right in the demographic,
right now demographic, right? And is and I can say this, James is the man. Right. And this is one of the reasons.
So I'll tell you, James, a couple of years ago, I don't know when you and PowerSerg over here met, but I see his Instagram and these poses by these cars and I'm like, Sergio doesn't wear this shit. Like, these aren't his clothes. And then when I looked at your IG, I'm like, okay, I get it now.
James has been a influence. I wear our swag. By the way,
on the shows, of course we do the swag. Like Michael Sartain has the black shirt, the black pants, and Rolo's got the cutoffs, and I mean everyone has that. But that's also sort of style because you're looking for a brand. You're branding. Yep. So branding yourself as well. I want to share one story, and I'd like to get into the content here. But recently, and it doesn't matter whether it's dating or friends or your social circles or whatever it is. But for me, it's work life, and that's why I've been looking forward to this. My whole life been a jeans and t-shirt, tennis shoe kind of guy.
Sure.
But I was a police detective. I have wore suits, stuff like that. I'm back in industry where I've promoted. I'm back into the security industry where I've promoted to a point where I'm a vice president of operations. So I have to go in and wear the suits and I do presentations to, 1,000 people. And it was embarrassing because I thought I looked great. Like I went down to Men's Warehouse or something. But I mean, that's a realistic thing,
it's
right?
A start, right?
Yeah. 20 years ago, I remember when I was younger and single, I went into Nordstrom's. I got the gayest guy I could find, and I'm like, make me look good.
That's right.
And all that kind
Which they're very good at helping you do.
They're phenomenal.
They're awesome.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of my testing points.
They're a great wingman in more ways than one.
Absolutely.
Right.
We could do a whole other show on that.
Absolutely.
But
But I was speaking at this event, and one of the people from industry comes up and he's like, "Dude, what's going on with you?" I go, "What do you mean?" He said, and I wasn't in a suit. I was in a sport coat trying to do my thing. And he's like, "You can't wear a checkered sport coat with a checkered shirt and then a checkered." Dude, where's the handbook on this?
Yeah. That is a bad.
So I need some lessons, James. I need some lessons.
So how did you learn? Like, you obviously have style, and
right.
By the way, give me your Instagram.
James Kilgore, Kilgore.
It'll be right on the screen here.
Yeah, James Kilgore _.
And so your Instagram, like, you just look snazzy, right? You're a sharp dresser.
Yeah.
How did they? I mean, obviously, Marine Corps teaches you a certain level about the quality of dress, right? Making sure that you dress right dress.
But I know a lot of Marines, bro.
I think that it's an overall lifestyle for me. I got into the style side of things. I knew that I had to figure out what we were talking about style, right? So and I read Rollo Tomasi's Rational Male. I've watched a lot of his podcasts and everything. And one of the things that he recommended, which I put up on the first tab here on the screen, was The Appearance of Power by Tanner Guzzi. And the beautiful thing about this book is you can be any guy with no sense of style or fashion at all. And this book will build the foundation for you to be able to start figuring out, number one, what is your archetype? Are you the successful, business looking guy? Are you the rake? Are you driving around on motorcycles with cut up blue jeans and t-shirts, or are you
glanced at my jeans?
Or are you?
Hey, at least you missed the episode where he showed up in shorts. Now, that was a good time.
Okay,
we had to change camera positions.
It's like probably cargo pants too.
Dude, we had to change camera positions.
They wouldn't let me in my golf club if I would have showed up that way, but I showed up on the show. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
the motorcycle guys.
Tanner talks about basically the professional look, the rake, the rebel look, and the outdoorsman look, like a cowboy or
rough and gruff Marlboro man kind of thing.
And but you can also blend those together, and you can go in and out. And Curtis is one of the coaches, and because they try to talk a bit about fashion with guys, and we're doing a lot more of it with Vincent Del Toro inside of Men of Action with Mike Sartain's group. At the end of the day, you need to be able to look in the mirror and be happy with what you see.
Absolutely.
So whatever that archetype is. And so I work with them more on the fashion side of the clean look, the professional look, the professional, the metro type. And I think that what I'm trying to do, well, I'm comfortable in that. That's me. And we're trying to help guys become, because I'll show pictures of Rollo Tomasi. We all seen him go around as cut off muscle shirts or tank tops, but I've seen him in a 3-piece suit with a tie.
Yeah.
Right.
But for you, did you just make a decision? Look, I'm going to dress better.
I figured, how do I present myself to the world when I go out? Like I'm like this pretty much 90+% of the time when I go out.
Well, I see the photos.
Yeah.
When you're out and about.
It's not for show. That's how I look. Rollo makes fun of what my wardrobe and how many suits and dress shirts and pants and everything.
You're like Rollo. I go into the Men in Black movie. Rollo's got like this cut off, that cut off, that cut off.
Yeah, he's got a cut off for every day of the month, right?
Yeah, he's got a cut off for every day of the month.
But I like that appearance because I think in our age demographic, when women see us, they are looking for competency. They're looking for that you are successful. You're not essential just because you dress well and you present yourself well doesn't mean that you're necessarily leading with money.
Right.
You're leading with confidence, you're leading with competence, you're leading with being
and a lot of times that
confidence,
the style can build that confidence.
It can.
That's correct. It does create synergy.
Right.
It does
because
create synergy.
I've noticed in the work world when I've got employees or if I'm going into a certain venue where, like, we'll use court, for example. Right, there's just a different attitude that you have when you walk in and you're distinguished, but to get that command presence, so you can command the presence initially, but then you've got to have the confidence.
You got to be able to back it up.
You got to close the deal.
It can't be superficial, but you see how we've started to help guys with the fashion side of things, and they do carry themselves better, and they do project their voices better.
But I mean,
now when they're
feel
talking.
better, right? When you're well dressed, you feel better about yourself.
Because you realize, like, you look in the mirror and it's like, man, this looks great, but I could look better. I can get in the gym, I can lose a few pounds, I can get more of a V taper look. I can start trying to go. That's because I push. If I see guys getting fit, I push and I don't represent. They don't give me anything for it. But I found a company called State and Liberty. And they have a fair few stores throughout the U.S. But what I take the guys to is I'll take them to the one in West Hollywood and have them get measured so they can figure out what all their sizes are and see if we can get them things off the rack, which normally if you have a fairly athletic build, you can. And they can just order it online and just have it shipped to them. So they don't have to have a store nearby to go ahead and get this stuff if they know what their sizes are.
What do you think?
So where's hold on one second. Where does the sizing? Is this one of those app automated sizes?
No, like you go into
a physical store.
Yeah, you work with them and you
have
figure out.
Have you seen those apps that are supposed to size you? I mean, does that work? Does anyone know?
I have not.
I would not. I tried. I bought a suit online using the app. It was garbage.
Yeah.
It didn't fit well. Okay. It didn't feel good.
It's very tough. It's very tough.
Yeah,
and they're never tailored.
Stretchy.
Yeah. It's tempting to buy the 3 for $300 suit deal.
Well, so I bought that stretchy suit.
You get what you get.
Right, exactly.
You get what you pay for. But
that should be the price of one shoe.
I bought that stretchy suit that's supposed to be really good because it's all, I don't know.
Easy travel. They talk about, going through planes and stuff like that.
It didn't fit well. It didn't look good. I just didn't care for it. And so you like State and Liberty. What about Indochino? Like I see a lot of ads on Indochino suits. And
I haven't gone to try them out yet because I've just been too busy. I have enough clothing now where it's with State and Liberty that I haven't really had to look outside of anything else. I've seen some things that I'm interested in having to go look at, but again, I'm very picky about it. I want to go in, try it on, and I will start looking at. And now because of the fact that we're doing Reignite with Men of Action, and we're starting to do a lot more fashion, I do have to broaden the horizon. I just can't tell everybody, because like we had a guy, great guy, Steve, we had him try on everything, and his bone structure is he's too tall, his arms, shoulders, and everything. It's like, there's just nothing he can buy there off the rack. And like the sleeve lengths, it's like
custom made.
He's going to have, but he's okay with that. He's in Atlanta, and it's like, he realizes, so I travel through Atlanta quite a bit, and that's why I like the book Appearance of Power is it helps you figure out where are the local places you can go to. Where's a local, like you said, where's the best store I can go to find the best gay fashion guy to help me with my fashion. I mean, he doesn't have to be. There's guys that just have the talent for fashion, and they'll come in, and that's when we talk about like what I've got up on the next tab, because the next big thing, once you figure out what it is you want to wear, or what type of archetype you want to be, now we have to look at your skin tone. We have to figure out, okay, because it's a tough thing to say, but depending on how fair-skinned you are, or if you're olive-skinned, or if you're really, really dark, there are just certain colors you should not wear.
Really?
Talk about that. Yeah, that's fascinating.
If you look at this screen that we've got popped up, you can see they got Will Smith down at the bottom. Dark. He goes well with darker colors. He doesn't go well with lighter colors, and the reason is because it'll bleach him out. Like
so it's a contrast.
It's too much contrast.
Too much contrast.
Right?
Okay.
And if you look at the guy just above him, who's more olive skinned, man, he can wear just about anything. Okay. I mean, really, even some of the pastels that they have on the right hand side that he shouldn't wear, he can still get away with it. So if you're more olive skinned or you got a really good tan, pretty much you just need to try it on and have a wish. And but the more fair skinned you are, you can see you have to have more, light browns, blues. Blues do really well with guys that are very, very light skinned, or pale pastels.
I will tell you, boys,
powder blue, powder pink.
That takes, you know what though, that takes a little cojones.
I will tell you, I wear a lot of pinks. I don't know if it's right for my skin tone, wrong for my skin tone. The moment I look at a skin tone chart like this, I'm out. This is way too
But it's too much. It builds the base. So what we're trying to do is we're saying, like, look, these are the primary. So if you're going to get a suit, or if you're going to have a shirt and pants, these are the primary colors that you need to focus on. The accessory colors can be the other colors. And that's when we talk about, so this is just another way.
Holy cow, I didn't know there were that many colors. I know 4 colors.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, that might be all you need to know.
Isn't there 5 in the rainbow?
There's 5 colors.
That might be all you need to know. That's like, I'm good.
White, black, blue, red, yellow. That's it, 5 colors.
The Bloods, the Crips.
That's all I know.
Yeah, which gang are you in? Don't wear the wrong shoes, So this also is just another spreadsheet of the same thing.
So the KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Is that I'm assuming coming from military law enforcement?
Keep it simple. You can start getting more complex, and this is where we start to get a little bit more complex, where we start to talk about the color wheel. And if you look at that, it talks about, okay, because you go back and you look at your skin tone, you've got your primaries, and then you have your complementary. So what you would wear with that primary color is a complementary color. And you can even get very, very advanced. So over here, it's like, it's funny on the color wheel, it's the opposite, going opposite. So if yellow's the primary, purple's a great complementary. Orange is or blue is a primary, orange is a great complement to it. But you can also start to get really complex and have
does it create like well, here's an interesting thing, and maybe I'm in left field,
sure,
but which isn't uncommon. But you know, like all that news
marches to his own beat.
Yeah, absolutely, and goddamn proud of it. Okay, buddy. But you know, lately, all of the purple on your teeth to get rid of the yellow causes a neutralization. Is that the same sort of science, or is that something completely?
Well, yeah, I think it is, because you're not getting rid of anything, but it's kind of a little bit of a way to
neutralize
it. Well, it peacocks things. It's like you can be fairly vanilla. You can have a pair of khaki pants on, a powder blue shirt with a navy blue jacket, but then you go for
a pocket square,
a pocket square that's off color but still looks right.
Absolutely.
And because women notice,
I messed that up.
What we talk about to guys is that we need to build a foundation with the right pants, the right shirts, and the right jackets for the whatever the occasion calls for. But then it's the accessories and the colors of those accessories, the ties, the vests, the pocket squares.
Now the tie and the pocket square need to match. If you have the tie and you do the square, or you can do one or the other. Correct?
Yeah, they can. It depends. You can have complementary colors that are side by side. Okay. So it could be one shade off. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. So it just depends. Once you start to get a sense of it and you understand what looks good and what doesn't, you'll figure out on your own. You'll put it on and you'll look in the mirror and you're like, oh no, that's not going to work. Right. I will have to use. And a lot of times that's what happens. You can buy a tie that comes with pocket square.
Okay.
So they're matching. There's some beautiful, brilliant color paisleys. And you look at the base color of the tie, that'll match what you're wearing. But then there's all these accent colors that are going through there that show it off.
Right.
Because that's what you're going to get the compliment on. If you're walking around, if you're showing that you're competent, that you're confident, women are going to approach and they're going to have something to talk to you about. They're going to say, oh my God, I love how your pocket square goes with your outfit.
Right.
So do women understand this intuitively?
Yes.
with us, we have to learn this, right? Do women just get it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they get everything, right? Women just get everything.
Just get everything.
Well, yeah, to your point, you see the light, you see the world through four colors. They see it through 8,972 different colors.
Right. And I think
mauve hair is a color. I have no idea what that is.
It's also a bonus because then when you present yourself in that way, they know you get it.
Yeah,
right.
Fair.
So like, oh, this guy's switched on.
He's got fuchsia.
Yeah, he knows.
All right, so let's talk about the actual. So we got the colors down. So let's talk about the actual styling of what you said, like your type, right? So once you figure out your type, what works, and you said you can combine. So tell us about the three types. You said that there was
the archetypes are basically the professional, the metrosexual professional that wears the suit or wears always has a button-down shirt, chinos, or a proper suit. And then the next archetype's the rake. And the rake, Rollo would be a good example of the rake when he dresses that way. There's a lot of guys, a very base, what I always tell guys, because almost everybody can wear it, you saw it all the time too when we were in Vegas, just a simple black t-shirt with a black pair of pants and a black pair of boots that match. Just all black.
I know, but that to me comes across, and I've heard this now from women as well. It's the fuckboy uniform. Like there's no other way to put it, right? When you look like that,
like the Sartain look.
The Sartain look.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what. But that's.
I love you, Michael. It is what it is. It should be a definition.
Yeah. It's that's what you're leading with.
Okay.
But if you look good in it, that doesn't mean that on a given night at a given event, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go all black. I just don't care. Because then
I also do it for the trimming effect.
Yeah. Well, you look good in darker colors like that. You'll look slimmer. But the other thing is that's when you can focus on the accessories. Okay. You can have a really nice necklace, or you can have a really nice watch.
Because then they'll accent, and you'll notice it.
A really nice bracelet, an accessory that then can be talked about with somebody.
So,
right?
Tell us this. So I've heard both things. So fine. So you're wearing, you pick your colors, you pick your archetype.
Right.
Now, should your stuff be more fitted where it's tighter on you, or should it be loose? Yeah. And it also is functional. So I hear like people say that you have to have clothing that's more fitted, right?
Yes.
That's tighter on you.
Yeah.
So that looks better than a loose.
Right now, that is the fashion, but I think it also, if you're working hard to maintain yourself and you're looking good, you want to be able to show that off. So tapered pants are definitely the fashion right now. I don't think that that's going to change. And we know from studying everything that Mike Sartain talks about with hypergamy and David Buss's work, women like to see a V taper. So you need to have shirts that are tailored in at the waist, so that when you have a shirt or a jacket on, it creates that V taper look. Some of the photographs that you saw on my grid and on Instagram, when I present myself in a suit and you can see that angle, those are the ones that get the most likes.
And we'll show that when the episode airs.
That's fascinating, because I know that. I mean, let's look at the rest of the demographic. Let's look at the other 70% that aren't cut, that aren't V, but aren't obese. Like the average guy, what's the recommendation? Is it tight? Because you don't want to be too loose, because then you look like you're swimming in it. Women notice fashion in ways that you can show that you're good with fashion because you have a really, really nice pair of shoes or boots on. They notice that. You have a really nice watch. You have really nice accessories. You can make up for a lot. Hats. Guys can have. They can wear hats. Fedora versus
cowboy hat. Like how we were talking. The last one is the outdoorsman, the cowboy. The trucker. You have baseball cap.
Everybody knows the dude that is a stockbroker or an accountant and then wears cowboy boots and a hat.
Yeah.
Everybody knows when it's fake, right?
Yeah.
I have a friend who's an actual cowboy, like a legit, right?
Yep.
And when he wears his hat, he just wears it differently. Right. So I think there's something
because he owns it. It goes back to what James said when we started, was if you owning what you're doing, and that's the whole thing. So there's a psychological side of this too.
That's correct.
Is you can't just put the suit on and then roll with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you right now, we talked about last week. We had a mental health. I have what a lot of people in industry have, is an imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah,
Where you're never good enough. Everyone's better if they
feel
find
awkward
out
in the room because do I deserve to be here?
Was more of a
narcissist over here. But he admits it.
Walks in, owns it.
Right. He owns the narcissism.
Big cape with a big ad on the back.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I wish I could go with a snapback in my Vans and walk into a party and just take it over. But I want to just one before you go there. But you have these extremes, okay? Like you have, who's a football player? He used to be for the Panthers, real wild style, and now he has his Freaky Friday podcast. Or you look at the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. They wear the crazy. At what point can you just be too wild?
The Dennis Rodman effect.
Kind of like a Dennis Rodman effect.
Yeah, I think. Those guys can get away with that, right?
Cam Newton.
They can get away with it because they've already got 1 million followers. They can do whatever they want. They're going to get 1,000 likes.
Who they are has already established them. They can.
Yeah, they push the boundaries because they have to keep the algorithm moving, to keep the attention coming back.
So they built it as a brand, kind of.
Yeah, they're building it as a brand and they're pushing it out. For most of us, it's just whatever you're comfortable with. Every once in a while you can step out. Like we all went to the Babes in Toyland last Thursday night in West Hollywood, and it was a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. So everybody's wearing pink. So all of us guys had to go out and figure out, what are we going to do? So I went out and found Rolo found a pink pair of shoes. I found a pink pair of shoes. It's like, I don't know if I'll ever wear them again. Pair of pink socks.
I actually think pink is great.
But here's
so it's just you just go for all those accessories.
And it's also functionality. So, for example, when I left law enforcement, and even now, sometimes I'll put something on and everything I have is really, really baggy, and I couldn't figure out like why are all my suits really, really baggy? And then it dawned on me, the reason they're really baggy is because I always carried a gun. And you have to have baggy functionality, right? So I only realized that because I got rid of all those and I got into more tapered suits that fit better. And then I started carrying gun again.
You know, it's funny.
And it doesn't fit well.
It doesn't fit well.
But but you can work around that. Like there's certain workarounds. But I think it comes back to what you were saying about making it not only a fashion, but making it a statement and actually, having that be part of your personality. Because people who walk in, like for instance, if I dress like Cam Newton, I'd probably be locked up at the funny farm. They'd be like, okay, you're clearly having a delusional moment, but I don't understand. I guess what I don't understand is how do you get that transition? I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but how do you get that transition from, hey, look, I want to be better. I want to take control of this. Now I have a guide. I understand. How do you put it into action?
I think that, well, that's why I like the book Appearance of Power with Tanners, because he really lays out the groundwork in the step-by-step process for you to start building your own archetype, getting comfortable with it, and start figuring out where to go to try to get the things that you need to wear. And getting back to what you were talking about, everybody's not going to walk around with a great V-taper look, but women do notice if you've tailored your clothes. If you're wearing a tailored shirt, it will, regardless of your body type, if you're ectomorph or mesomorph or whatever, you're going to look better in a tailored shirt. I'm just morph. So. Yeah, morph. There we go. You're going to look better in a tailored shirt. They're going to know that you tailored your pants. They know he polished his boots. His shoes look great, right? They notice all those subtle all the little subtleties. They don't miss a thing. Fingernails. Yeah, I notice fingernails. I get manicures, and I used to think I used to think women would think that I was feminine when I started first dating. When I got divorced, I got manicures because I would spend time with my ex-wife, and she would get manicures every Saturday, and I was traveling a lot, so I started going to the shop with her. Everybody misunderstands the statement. Somebody said it backwards, and Rolo says it all the time. When you meet women, they're not deciding within the first few minutes of whether or not they're going to sleep with you. They're disqualifying you. Yeah, they're looking for things to disqualify. Absolutely. Right? And it's like, and your appearance can be an automatic disqualifier, or something about your appearance can be a disqualifier. The fact that you don't have a tailored shirt, the fact that you don't have tailored clothes, the fact that you don't take care of your shoes, the fact that you don't have clean fingernails, that you don't have a good haircut, or that you can have a beard, but is the rest of you, is it clean? Is it trimmed? Is it trimmed? Yeah. Because read the room, right? Yeah. Ultimately, you're showing confidence, you're showing competence. And the number one reason that we're trying to do all that is because in this day and market with social media and the way that everything is, women want to be able to feel safe around you. You listen to women honestly talk about what the priority is. They want to be safe. They want to be able to be near a man that they feel safe with. And all of this helps build that. There's that level of just success. I know right now we're talking about women. Right now Same thing with business. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Is right now I don't care about attracting women or whatever the case may be. He's in a monogamous relationship as always. Poor fella. But hey, I say the opposite. Hey, if you're happy, I can't keep up with you guys. I can't keep it straight in my head. So, yeah. But the bottom line is, like, I think going into a job interview to a speaking engagement, and then the guy comes up and goes, "Yeah, you have the." Checker on. Yeah, right. That's a good one. Here's the thing, man. With imposter syndrome, that freaking nailed me. It's taken a lot to get back on that horse and get back out there. So for me, it's when I look in the mirror now, I'm over critiquing. What about the men out there that are over critiquing? What should they do? Should they reach out to somebody? Should they go into? Yeah, they can. Work? And that's what he talks about in the book, and that's what we try to do in Reignite and MOA is we try to provide that feedback because guys do. they go down the rabbit hole and they start over critiquing everything. It's like, look, man, just relax. That looks great. Don't worry about it.
So from advice on dating, in
positive
your 50s,
feedback from guys that know what they're talking about, that they can trust and help guide them. Yeah.
So for guys our age, from a clothing style standpoint, what's the advice? So I guess it's pick your own. So it depends on who you are.
Go find somebody in the fashion stores, men's clothing stores, that understand the colors and the fashion that's going to suit you. They're going to help you pick out clothes. They'll help get you those first couple of, your first 1 or 2 suits, maybe an extra sports coat, a couple of extra pairs of pants, chinos. They can guide you. They may not have them there, but they'll tell you where you can go to try to find shoes. I really push Chelsea boots. I think Chelsea boots are great because Chelsea boots work really well with tapered pants.
Everything.
Yeah.
I just got some Chelseas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never thought I would wear them.
The Beatles,
and they're comfortable.
Well, they're all, everybody's like, what are you wearing Beetle boots for? You got the Beetle
but they're
boots.
comfortable. They go with anything. I can throw them on with a pair of jeans. I can throw them on with slacks. I won't wear my cargo shorts.
You get to, Ariat, Tecovas have great Chelseas. Ariat has great Chelseas. You get a brown pair, get a black pair. You've got everything covered.
The shoes and the belt still have to match?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you've got black shoes on, you should have a black belt. If you have brown, you should have the brown that matches the brown.
The shoes that I actually like the clothing, and the name just escaped me, of course, because now I talk about it. But it's the oldest
we were talking about that, and I can't remember.
Johnston Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a big Johnston Murphy fan for their shoes, and also like I wear some of their sports coats, and I think they're great.
Yeah.
But do you think that custom? So we're saying tailor. So tailored to your
size, because not everything is going to be able to be off the rack for everybody, and it's worth it to get it just some minor adjustments made, because people will men will notice it kind of maybe subliminally. Women will notice it straight up.
Obviously, I mean, everyone has a different level of what they can afford. So whether you're going to Joseph Bank, or whether you're going to Men's Warehouse, or whether you're going in to have a personal stylist, if they take the time to go get them tailored correctly, you can pretty much wear regardless of where you get it from.
True.
I think it comes down to, you're talking about something. I want to share the story now on the episode, says the captain. Life really does, when you're attracting women, when you're trying to get the promotion, it does come back to status. So I used to work on a cruise ship. I was a chief security officer on a cruise ship, which we could do a whole stories on what happened on a cruise ship. We should do one.
Yeah.
Cruise ship days.
So my offshore stays offshore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except like herpes, gonorrhea.
Unless you bring it back with you.
It's like the Vegas thing, right? What happens in Vegas stays Vegas as long as you got penicillin. So, so my first day, I'm training, and so the staff captain calls me up and he goes, "Hey, Chief, what are these?" And he's pointing to his epaulets, right? I go, "Your rank, sir?" No, come on, stupid. What are these? "Sir, your epaulets?" He goes, no. These are the coochie magnets. And the more magnets you got, the more coochie you get. But it comes down to the point that he was right. Because there's that level of status. But it didn't have to just necessarily be the coochie magnets. It could also just be the officer who was maybe a butter bar, but he tailored this, he has a uniform tailored correctly. I mean, he wore it like he owned it.
Marine Corps blues and the Navy whites. What do they call them? Both of them wearing the same thing. It's the fuck me blues and the fuck me whites.
Yeah.
Right?
The magic, we called it the magic of the blues.
The magic of the blues.
Yeah. It was something, it was amazing because it was IVE. Like the first time you see how women act around you when you're in your full dress blue uniform, you'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. Yeah. It was pretty special.
Growing up in San Diego, I saw that all the time.
Yeah.
I was a bar back, in the early days as a teenager.
But again, like you said, it all comes back to status. It all comes back to, again, showing that you're confident, showing that you're competent.
That you own it.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, James, we appreciate you coming to the show. Call to action here is going to be, you know what? You've got to get out there. When you're reestablishing your life, we're giving you the permission slip to go live your best life. Part of living your best life is feeling your best, looking your best. If you can't play the part, you're not going to get the part. So remember that. We're going to go live the best day of our lives, and you go live yours. Have a great day.
The show doesn't stop there. Join the movement on IG, 50 Shades of _great, or go to our website, 50shadesofgreat.com.